Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a brand new video, this time doing a much requested video, which is indeed a floor plan tutorial. So for the longest time now, people have been asking me over the last couple of years how I go about my floor plans and how I work them out. And a little bit like roofing, it can be one of those tricky things to do, but it is something that with time and experience you just get used to and it just gets easier. But with that being said, I do feel like I have a couple of handy tips that might help you. So there are a couple of different ways that you can do floor plans, and I'm simply going to show you today how I do mine, because I feel like the way that I do it is that simple that floor plans just aren't something that I even think about anymore. So what I've actually done is gone onto the gallery and downloaded one of the houses that I've built recently and completely emptied it out into a shell. So this is where I would roughly be at with building. What I actually do is build the entire outside of the build first. I place absolutely everything, do the entire landscaping, and then this is where I'd be at when I'd think, right, okay, I need to move on to the inside. So when I drop the walls down, I've literally just got a shell. And there's nothing in it. I mean, apart from this wall detaching this garage here, this is the entire body of my house. Now, the very first thing that I would think about is stairway placement. Now, stairs within a house are always, well, I always tend to place them near doorways because I feel like in real life it's where, stairways are normally placed for emergency reasons. So it enables people to get from the top floor to the bottom and out of an emergency exit. So quite similarly in The Sims, it actually helps them to move around a lot easier if the staircases are closer to doorways. So that way if your sim is upstairs and they need to go to work, you get the idea, off out the door they go. So the first thing I think about is stairways. Now, if this was an absolutely huge, massive house, I would actually think about placing a stairway probably on both sides of the house. But considering this is quite an ordinary sized big house, I don't think it needs it. So if I take my stairway, I'm just going to do like an L-shaped stairway. I'm going to place this near to the door, and I'll probably place it around about here. And so here, is quite a good place. Your sim can come in, they can go up the stairs. It's quite a central place within the floor plan as well, so it's accessible to everybody no matter where you are. Now, the most important thing about a floor plan for me is both hallways and landings, because they are your central pinpoint for a floor plan. An actual hallway, we'll call this a hallway downstairs and a landing upstairs, but the hallway needs to cover the majority of the body of the house in order for your sims to get into each one of the rooms no matter where they are. So what I'm going to do is concentrate on building the hallway first. So each one of these little walls here has a point, as you can see. They're like the corners of the rooms, really, or the corner of the shell. So I'll start with this particular corner and I'll work my way up to the staircase. Now, because this is the front door and this is the back door, I could maybe just run this wall all the way up. And then from here, I need to create some kind of hallway that reaches this end and this end. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can literally just be a rectangle. So I'm going to go for something like this. And as you can see, as you come through the doorway, you have this kind of walkway here. Now you can make it bigger or you can make it smaller, but bear in mind the bigger that it is, the smaller the rooms are going to be on the outside. So your hallway is not where a sim would spend a lot of time anyway. It just needs to be somewhere that's basically accessible. So we've also got this portion of the house to think about. So I might actually put a wall from here to here, and you could probably put in an archway that would connect them two. So if I find a nice little archway. Now, all you're going to do with this is simply create lines that go from the hallway to the outside. So as I said before, each one of these is a point. So I drag that point down to the hallway, that point down to the hallway, this point down to the hallway, and you get the idea. I mean, you could make a room like that. And just as simple as that, that is the floor plan. And all I would take from that is that the smaller rooms are going to be bathrooms, and you know, you could maybe take this one and say, right, okay, that's going to be a large family bathroom. Here I might do like a kitchen with a dining room, and this could maybe be like a little gym. This one could be a study. This one could be the living area. And I kind of figure out the floor plan literally from that. And it's as simple as that. So using the exact same thing upstairs, this is the stairway that brings us up, and we want to create a landing area that will reach from, basically will cover this central area. So it doesn't want to be too big, but just going for something very simple. Say we just literally did a rectangle. From there, you would take this point and take it up, this point, take it up, this point. And sometimes obviously you can't go to that point, so you might need to just like do something along those lines. And then on this side you could maybe match it and do the same. But you're literally taking the corners of the house or the corners of the shell and you're dragging them to meet your hallway. And from here, just like that, you have a floor plan. So you would take the smaller rooms and make them into bathrooms, and the bigger rooms would be bedrooms. So I'd probably say, okay, this is going to be a bathroom. Maybe this could be a big family bathroom. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bedrooms, and then 3 bathrooms, including the one downstairs. But you can adjust the size of them as well. So you could make the hallway a little bit bigger and this one a little bit smaller, and you could add more things into your hallway. Or you can even make it open plan and say, right, you know what, I want this house to be open plan, so I'm just going to take down some walls. So we could maybe take this one down, this one down, and this one down. And you could just make this huge open living space, and you know, you could maybe even use half walls to separate rooms and say, right, okay, this particular room, I'm going to place my kitchen. And you can do things that way. But on the whole, with the bigger houses, this is all I would tend to do, is literally you place your landing or your hallway, and you do it like almost like a spider diagram, and you use the points of the shell to meet the middle. I really hope this makes sense, because as I'm talking, the more I'm thinking, like, does it even make sense? But basically from there, I would just literally add my doors in. So if we just take like some normal standard door, just to show you exactly what it would look like, you just place doors onto each one of the rooms. And like with this one, you can't get to it because the stairway's in the way. So I'd think, right, okay, this is where you do still have to amend things. So I'd say, okay, well, let's make a smaller room. And that way we can get to this room. And it's just, you know, it's as simple as that. For me, I find that just really simple. And you can do it just, no floor plan's the same. You will still have to mess around and just make sure it's easy to get to. I mean, like with this one, for instance. So if I was to redo this bit, I think I did actually do it initially, something quite similar with an extra corridor. But say I wanted to make my going back to my hallway, or let's take it right back to the beginning. Because I don't think, if I had to do the floor plan on a house again, I don't think any two floor plans would be the same. So starting with this like hallway space, I'd take it down, maybe around, I know this is my front door here. And then I could maybe take this down a little bit further, bring it round, down, like so. And then you could literally just, all you're doing is dragging each one of these points down to create rooms. So I'd maybe do it like that, pull this one down like here. You know, you can get creative with this, with the floor plans. They don't have to be as straightforward as a straight box. You know, you can make them funky. You could have a hallway that's a bit of a funny, different shape. But just for an example, that's just, you know, so say I got some archways. I could say, right, I want that to be a kitchen, and I want it to be open plan that goes into the dining room, and then, you know, make it a bit more open. And then you could say, okay, well, I want these to be dining rooms, or I want them to be studies, so I do actually want them to have doors on them, or this is going to be a bathroom, so it needs a door. And that is all you do. That is all you do. And that's just a different way of laying the house out. Now, when it comes to smaller houses, it's a little bit different because you need to be a little bit more thoughtful on where things are going to be placed because you're going to be strapped for the space. So this is a little micro cottage I did recently, and I'm just going to show you, for instance, why you need to think about it a bit more. So this is a micro home, so it's a really, really tiny space. Now, I know that I need to include a place to eat or a place to cook, some sort of bathroom, some sort of living space, and a place to sleep. So that's a lot of things to include. Now, this is luckily quite a straightforward floor plan. You know, it's a straightforward space. So straight off the bat, I knew that I could make this a room and this a room. So this is going to be my bathroom, and this is going to be like my kitchen. Now, I needed to make, what I was left with was this particular space that I needed to make into both a bedroom and a living area. Now, with this particular one, what you can do is use obviously like the space saving bed. So just having a look for that. I think that came with the tiny living stuff pack as well. You could just use that, and obviously that would be a big space saver. But I think in this particular house, in the end, I decided to take just a little bit of a wall, just as simple as that, just a little tiny bit of the wall, and just kind of make a separate area. And then I went ahead and placed in a bed on this side, and then I thought, okay, I mean, you could even open this area out as well because it's a kitchen, so that it doesn't feel so cramped. And instead of using big walls, you could go ahead and use the smaller ones, which I'm not sure whether I did or not. And that's still considered like a separate space, but it's still divided up. So if I just add the wallpaper back in, and then all I would do is add in a door for the bathroom. And then that way you have an area where you can place your kitchen, so a couple of kitchen units, maybe a stove, a fridge. You've got this little area here that you can use as a bedroom, so you could place like a little side table here and maybe some sort of clothes drawer here and a little living space there. So I think in the end I used just a little tiny corner sofa, and then I placed like a little table with a TV. So you do need to think a little bit more about your smaller floor plans, but they're nowhere near as intricate as what your bigger ones are. But I do find bigger floor plans just not a problem, using that strategy of taking the very, very middle and creating your hallway, creating your landing, and then literally using like a spider diagram and building your walls out to meet the corners. And what I find doing it that way as well is that if you do join up each one of the walls from the hallway to those points, you never have to adjust a window or a door or anything. It generally works, I would say, 9 times out of 10. And there's only just very small changes that you ever really have to make to a floor plan after that. So I really hope this helped. I hope you've managed to understand exactly what I'm trying to say. I really hope so, because I'd love to be able to help someone with their building and with their floor plans. But that for me is the way that I use it. Remember, not everybody builds the same. Some people will build completely different, and that's absolutely fine. It's whatever works for you. But I hope you found this video useful, and it's something that you can maybe take from. But I hope you all have a fantastic weekend wherever you are in the world. If you're not subscribed, don't forget, it matters. Please subscribe, and please like this video if you enjoyed it. But I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.